So the word of the day is avant-garde. I have heard people pronounce this in all sorts of really incorrect ways, like avant-garde or avant-garde, and all of those, yeah, all of those are wrong. So I'm going to make you say avant-garde. One more time, avant-garde. So this is kind of one of those French words that got adopted into our language. And again, it's way more common than people realize. If something is avant-garde, it's experimental, or maybe it's really futuristic, or it's kind of radical, it's really out there. Or if it's avant-garde, it's kind of unorthodox, which means it goes against what's ordinary. And you can have avant-garde stuff that is art, visual art, or written art, because we are artists in creative writing. So this one was really famous. Lady Gaga now has really toned down her look. When she first was getting famous, this happens all the time, that you'll get a label, right, like a music label, who tells, thank you so much, the artist to do avant-garde stuff like this, because it gets you noticed. And until you get famous without having to do stuff like this, that's why, like, Katy Perry did the same thing, that she was really out there, very avant-garde, when she was first getting famous, and now she doesn't have to do that anymore. But Lady Gaga did all sorts of really weird stuff. If you start Googling, in a minute, not right now, but if you Google pictures of Lady Gaga or Katy Perry back in the day when they were first coming out, they were doing weird stuff. This is a dress made out of literal raw meat. Actual meat. She is wearing raw, real meat, and she is, they got her noticed. So think of avant-garde as unusual. If something's really kind of out there, you could say that it's avant-garde. This is a real-life word. It's not just specific to creative writing, although it definitely can be. I know this seems weird. Yeah.
They could, if she's doing a show in that meat thing, they could, like, put her in, like, an oven.
Oh my gosh, and her right on stage. So how many of you grew up on Dr. Seuss, right? Like, Dr. Seuss days, March 2nd, right? In, like, a lot of elementary schools, right? And so nowadays, this is like, yeah, whatever. But for real, Dr. Seuss, when he was first getting famous, people thought he was actually crazy. Like, people were nervous that something was wrong with him mentally. Because he was, think of his artwork, right? Like truffula trees, right? It's very different than what people were used to. People, and you should have your hand on that because I'm teaching a lesson, yeah. People were very used to, like, just cutesy little kid books, right? And then you get Dr. Seuss who's doing really weird avant-garde stuff. And nowadays it doesn't seem so weird, right? So Picasso, I'll show you pictures of in just a second. How many of you have seen fashion magazines or pictures from Paris Fashion Week or like Milan's Fashion Week? Anybody ever seen those? At one point, you should go look some of them up. They get really weird and really avant-garde very quickly. Lots of models will do really weird poses and avant-garde poses because they're trying to really make the fashion stand out. So you'll get some models who look like angry. Like, why are you being a dinosaur right now? But again, anything you can do to stand out and look different, that is avant-garde. That's the point. I want to stand out and be very different than what people have seen. Yeah.
Like some models, like I think like for one show there's like models that were wearing matches.
Yep, exactly. Any of that kind of, I'm really trying to stand out, that's avant-garde for sure. And so if something is traditional, it's not avant-garde. If it's very plain, it's probably not avant-garde, unless it's overly plain on purpose. Yeah.
Avant-garde reminds me of Zoolander.
Yeah, exactly. Zoolander is avant-garde. Yep, all those models doing all those weird things. If something's really subtle, it's probably not avant-garde. If it's avant-garde, it's in your face. It's like, wow, I'm wearing a dress made out of meat, right? Then you'll know if it is. So the cool thing about avant-garde ideas, not all the time, but often they become normalized in the future. So just like Dr. Seuss, right? At the time, it was very weird, and nowadays it's not so weird. And here's the other reason why I teach it to creative writers, because it is a little bit out there and a little strange, but cool things really do happen. When creative writers are brave enough to try something really out there, we've talked about that before, right? Like with Choose Your Own Adventure. Somebody was brave enough to try something brand new that no one had ever seen, and it might have crashed and burned, and it might have totally failed. But also sometimes you're brave and you try something avant-garde and it doesn't crash and burn. And then it catches on, and that's how stuff changes in the art world. Yeah. Definitely not. That's why I said sometimes. I wouldn't say we're all going to be wearing raw meat in the future. Picasso, though. Picasso started, this is just some of his artwork. He started a whole movement that at the time people were very much in the camp of, well, are you okay? And nowadays, this is normal because he started a whole new type of artwork. Yeah, Jake.
So the Ariana Grande beef dress or whatever.
Yep, exactly, yep.
It actually still exists, so now it's beef jerky. In Las Vegas.
Wait, is that real?
Yeah. You can go see it.
That's the best thing I've heard all day. Okay, and then it's crazy. So every single year I've been a teacher at Albion, I have all of these like journals back here where I keep track of funny stuff that's happened. Every single year there is always a new trend. One year it was these specific types of sandals. One year it was kendamas, and that came back a little bit, right? Fortnite got 2 years. But one year, dubstep. It was 11 years ago. Everybody at Albion, dubstep was the cool thing. And now, like, do any of you even know what dubstep is? A couple of you. But can you imagine 900 kids? That's all anyone listened to. And it's very avant-garde.
Avant-garde musical genius. In case you're not exactly sure what dubstep is, we played a little light switch array to make sure that we're all up to speed.
I need to make it part of the lesson in the future.
Is it beef jerky?
Dubstep. It's a kind of dance that originated in the UK around 2006.
Maybe just made my whole day. Jake, that's a gold star for me, my friend. Here you go.
Oh man, dubstep tends to polarize, meaning if it isn't your thing, it's noisy, aggressive, repetitive, and inharmonic. But if it is your thing, it's noisy, aggressive, repetitive, inharmonic, perfect.
And for real, this is how I knew I was getting old. So I'm 35 now. And the moment where I was sitting in the car with my husband and I said, what? This is not even music. What is this garbage? That's how you know you've arrived at official olddom, okay? Okay, everybody, think about your U-Try box. Give me something new. You are welcome to Google an idea if you are a little bit stuck. But there's lots and lots of things that we didn't talk about that are avant-garde. And we will be doing a couple things after NaNoWriMo, which we're almost done with. We'll be doing a couple of avant-garde, kind of experimental types of writing that end up being kind of cool. But again, I hope that you'll think about it. As an artist, sometimes be brave and branch out, and it might catch on.